O'Hare International Airport. The local time is 4:16. Smoking is prohibited until you reach the designated smoking area.
What's up? What we doing? We get to see each other or nah?
No,
I got my N95 mask.
that's not. That's not.
You can get me a
not.
mask.
I
All right,
like it.
well,
That's fine.
let's get a room at the hotel, and then we'll meet in the lobby and keep our social distance of 6 feet to start with, so I can see your beautiful face.
Okay, let's do that.
Put your mask on and meet me at the Holiday Inn.
That's fine.
All right, I'm gonna grab this Uber and I'll see you in like 4 days. I'm gonna text you the address.
Okay. All right.
Love you.
Love.
Bye.
Hey.
Hey, baby.
Hey. Oh, I didn't even see no phone.
Give me a kiss with your mask. Let me get an Eskimo
No.
just a peck.
That's where the corona is. I love you.
Damn, I can't even get no kiss. We got the 2 beds so we can sleep separate.
Leave, because that's not a good plan. Mika.
It is. That's 6 feet in between.
You think we're going to stay in separate
Here's your
beds?
flowers.
I don't.
Oh, you can't touch them?
Thank
Dang.
you. You think we're going to stay in separate beds? This is all wrong.
And I brought you a delicious. We are gonna stay in separate beds. Ooh, it got a little messed up. Pineapple and sausage pizza.
Thank you, babe.
I love you. I can't get a mask kiss. Look,
Mika.
go like that. So, just to give a quick intro, I'm Mika.
I'm Maya.
And some of the experiences that we've been having with this COVID-19. I left Chicago early March, and I thought I was going to be coming back the next week. And then all hell broke loose. I don't know if I should say that, but basically I wasn't able to come home the next week because a lot of the COVID just got a lot worse. It increased. Cases increased. And my partner is in the medical field, and so she does testing with COVID, and I work for an airline. So with both of us being out with the public, we just felt like I should stay in Jersey at our place there, and she should stay here in Chicago, and that'll eliminate or reduce the chances of us catching it from each other at least. So. This is hard, you know? I ain't seen her in like 2 months. I miss her. I want to be over there with her, cuddling.
And I want to be with you. But I know it's not the right thing to do, because if you ever got sick because of what I do or I brought it to you, that's like the worst. So it's like less sacrifice now for keeping each other safe, you know?
Yeah. And I feel like, you know, I agree because I see a lot of what she goes through. But then I've also been out to the grocery store. I come home. I go to Home Depot. I come home. And then I feel fine. So part of me is like, maybe I had it. I'm immune to it already. And so maybe it's okay. I want to take this mask off and be comfortable at some point. But our plan is one of us is going to stay at the hotel here this week. And then one of us is going to stay at the house. And then we'll just meet up and see each other. But it's like we haven't kissed or anything. You know, we don't cuddle. We always cuddle. And so, I mean, she's a medical professional, so I was going to just ask her a couple questions. Hopefully y'all can hear me with this mask on. And then see if y'all can put some things in the comments. Maybe she can, in her spare time, answer a few of them. Just let us know what you're experiencing, too, with this. But, I mean, is there any research now? I think they're testing it, but is it definite that if we feel like we have... How does the whole antibodies thing work? If we had it before, like what's coming up with that?
So the thing about an antibody is lots of type of antibodies, but the specific one we're looking for is called an IgG. That tells you whether or not you had the infection before and cleared it. The thing about antibodies specifically is we don't know if you've had any and cleared it. It's something we call immunity, but we don't know how long that immunity will last. For instance, if you get a tetanus, if you notice you have to get boosters of certain vaccines, every 10 years at certain interval, is because typically the immunity wears off in time. So this being novel coronavirus, meaning we never seen it before, we don't know how long that immunity will last. And so right now we're doing a lot of research, but there's a lot we don't know. So you having an antibody, necessarily, it just means you've been exposed to it. If you have the IgG, you've cleared it, but it doesn't mean you won't be susceptible to this virus in 2 weeks or 2 months. We don't know how long. So no, you can't just take your mask off because you have an antibody, you know. And also, if you have an antibody, that doesn't mean you don't contact it or touch coronavirus on the surface and you're not carrying it under your shoe, on your arm, on doorknobs you touch. That doesn't mean you're not carrying it to the next person.
So with that, I guess I ain't getting none this week.
Probably not.
I didn't get no kiss though. What about in terms of masks and things like that? Any tips for like masks? Because I know I've had this mask for about 2 weeks, and usually I use this. I had the, what they call it, N95.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason I had it is because when I put down weed killer in the garden, I had like 2 or 3 of them. So I've had it, but I feel like this thing is worth $1 million now. But I feel like over time I should clean it. Like, what kind of care can we do for these masks, you know?
Typically, they like it without the N95, without that plastic thing on the front, because the ventilation isn't typically optimally what we want. But if that's the mask you have, then you go ahead and use it.
And most people have those that you have on your face.
Yeah.
How long should you wear those, or what's the indicator to say, okay? Because I've seen some people with some, and I'm like, bruh, that thing kind of dirty. You might need to take that off. So
yeah, but if you have access and ability to, in times like this, access and ability to just switch a mask off is for a lot of people a privilege. So if you can switch it out, great. But if you don't have that opportunity, definitely have coverings like a face cloth. There's studies that's showing that if you put whatever your mask is made out of, if you add a nylon, which is old stockings, you know, over it, that filters pretty well. But definitely a mask. A couple of things about the mask: when you take it off, you swoop under your ear and you remove it like that. Swoop under your ear and remove it. So the purpose of the mask is to filter the coronavirus or COVID-19 from the outside to your mouth. That means it's filtering, and some of that virus is going to get stuck on the front of your mask. So doing things like grabbing your mask to pull it down under your chin, putting it, I've seen it on top of people's heads. I've seen it hanging off one ear. And so none of that is going to protect. The other thing I've seen is having a mask, like if you notice I'm on the inside and I'm taking it down like that, having it under your nose. The mask, when it's working at its full capacity, is covering your mouth and your nose. So if either is exposed, the full benefit of the mask is not there. The mask also only works best when you have a hard side, and typically there's some kind of metal or plastic in there. You have it and you put it there and you pinch it to your unique size of your nose, and that's how it works best. A lot of times I'm talking to people and it's like, oh, I took off the mask because it was tight, it was constricting, it felt like I couldn't get the air, and that's exactly when the mask is working. Yeah,
she got on me the other day because I had mine. I don't like both of them, so I just had one of these hanging, and she got on me about it, so I had to put that back up.
Full fit, right. So wearing it like that because we want you protected. And sometimes you got to be a little uncomfortable for a little while, for a lifetime comfort, you know? I know this 2 months has been us finding ways to connect with each other without touching each other, you know? So, I mean, in a weird way, it's good because we've expanded our love language for each other.
Yeah,
you know,
like we've done basically like videos, chats. You know, we won't go into all the details of those, but and sending each other songs every morning and pictures and little notes. Or I'll try to buy her lunch, but she's so busy. It's like I talk to her at like 5 in the morning, and then the next time I talk to her is like 8, 9 at night. I go to bed early. She go to bed early, so she's like falling asleep. and then a little bit on the weekends, but that's pretty much it. So, oh, let me show you my mask. Let me see if it's approved. This is my mask when I need like more protection, but let me see if my other one is approved or not. So when I was on the airplane, I was super nervous. So I had on my hoodie. I mean, y'all see a video of it before this. And then I didn't want to keep this on the whole flight. So when before I traveled, I checked my temperature. She gave me this temperature. She shipped it on Amazon. So I checked it in my ear. I was 98 point something. So I was good. So I was like, all right, I can go to the airport, right? As long as your temperature not high, you don't have COVID.
No, that's not true.
Oh.
Okay. Actually, fever is one of the intermittent or symptoms of COVID that can go and come. So a lot of people have it. And so that's what makes this virus so tricky. A lot of people have it and they don't yet mount a fever. Eventually, studies show that they eventually do, but that's definitely not everybody, right? And so...
so I could have it right now, but I just didn't have a fever.
Yes.
Oh, well, I tried. But anyway, at the airport, so I was protected. I had some alcohol. My hands are super dry right now because I kept having alcohol put on my hands. I didn't touch I think I only touched my face once, and I was like, freaked out. And then I didn't want to keep this on the whole flight, so I took this off, and then I made out of this little white tee. I figured this would be comfortable for a 2-hour flight, and I just wrapped it around my face like this. So what would you say about this? Is this an approved wrap? It's really comfortable, and then you could I should have got the long one for the tall guys, but you just wrap it around your head like that. And then, look, it even molds to my face like you were saying earlier, which I think.
I think you look great.
Is it approved?
However, if that's what somebody has, yes. But if you have other options like an N95 mask, like a surgical mask, then those are better. So in the presence of the masks that you have available to you, I would never. But if that's what you have, then that's what you have. Now, also there's studies that show that if you took that and cut some nylons or stocking, the stocking leg, inserted that flatly into the stocking leg and wrapped the stocking leg around you, you'd have a really increased chance of protection.
There y'all have it,
So
folks.
get some stockings.
And this is really comfortable too. So anyway, all right. So that's it for today. But we're gonna keep y'all updated on how we doing with this in the next week or two. Or maybe month if we're not even at our peak yet. They're saying it might be I thought we was at the peak, but they saying they might have 3,000 deaths a day in June, which is crazy. Cause we at 2,000 now, you know.
Yeah, I think this. It all depends on what you mean. So it all depends on either we beat it together or we don't beat it together. It doesn't have any geographical boundaries. It doesn't have any kind of view of your gender or your race. What happens is systemic issues that play into other things that cause higher rates to be in certain populations, African American and Latin populations. But other than that, until we beat it together, and we can't beat it without all of us working together, you know.
Yeah.
Who knows? It's the novel coronavirus, so we still have a lot to learn.
And there's a lot of conspiracy theories out there. If y'all have any, put them below. We're curious to see how many of y'all feel like it's a conspiracy theory. But,
what y'all thinking?
you know, I mean, Italy, you know, Asia, a lot of these other countries stayed in the house a little bit more disciplined. We over here rebelling and running around. Some people running around with their guns and protesting and stuff. And it looked like our numbers are still going up. Granted, we bigger. But I mean, it looked like staying in the house is the key and using all these precautions, even though, you know, it's been 2 months, but you know, we don't want this to start over again. So
well, being able to run around with a gun and protest is a privilege, but we won't get into that.
We're going to figure out our little setup this week. And
I know, we're going to
I gotta
definitely
get a kiss
not,
or something.
definitely
Even if
not,
it's like Eskimo kiss.
No, definitely not doing that, because I love you and I want you to be
I love you
You know,
too.
I don't want to get too sensitive, but I love you and I wanted you to be here long term. And even if you are one of those 80% that's going to get in and clear it, the process between when you get in and clear it is super hard on the body, and it changes the body. You know, so we got to protect ourselves. Certain populations, like we said, don't do well in hospital settings. So the best thing we can do, and the primary preventive thing to do, is do everything we can to keep from getting it, so we stay out of those places where, like hospitals and things like that. We can take that responsibility, our social responsibility, to do that.
So hang in there, y'all. Be safe and stay a little disciplined.
Yeah,
I know. No, I do believe in it, but it's hard to stay disciplined. But
Yeah.
do your best to stay disciplined. We're gonna try to keep these masks on. I want us to sleep in the same room at least 6 feet away, but I think I'm getting kicked to the house.
Gonna get real, real short at midnight. So,
But y'all be safe,
ma'am.
and hopefully we'll be out of this soon, and we'll try to post another video, and based on some of the questions y'all asked, and see if Dr. Maya Green could answer some of those for you.
Okay, thanks. I'll see you on the other side.
Peace.